No way he just said this. Kevin Durant just made a shocking comment on the New York Knicks in regards to their fans and their success, while also a new report proves the New York Knicks are all in on winning the NBA Finals, and Knicks fans should be loving this. And we're going to break all of it down. A lot to talk about, guys. What's up? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And guys, if you're a part of that 71% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, you guys have been killing it with the views, the likes, the comments, the subs recently. Let's keep it up. Let's get to 15K before the playoffs end. And more importantly, let's jump into this video and talk some New York Knicks basketball. Because the New York Knicks, we've seen a lot of success with this team over this playoff run. They knocked out the Boston Celtics. They beat a hungry Detroit Pistons team, and now they go on to play the Indiana Pacers in the conference finals, where they are favorites to win and go to the NBA Finals, they're projected to play the Oklahoma City Thunder, a series where the Knicks will be underdogs again. But that didn't stop the Knicks when when the Celtics were minus 900 favorites against them. So there is no quit in these Knicks. But there have been comments surrounding the team, including by none other than Kevin Durant, a former rival of the New York Knicks, ever since he decided to burn the Knicks and go to the Brooklyn Nets over the Knicks in a summer where he was heavily projected to join New York's great basketball team, not New Jersey's basketball team, the New York one. And, well, he didn't, as we know. And when he went to the Brooklyn Nets, there was this anger by Knicks fans that we felt like we had been lied to by KD and by all this noise surrounding it for him to just go to a team that nobody cares about in New York because they're a Jersey team that plays in Brooklyn for some reason. But more importantly, what we've seen is Kevin Durant speak out on this, and this was not anti-Knicks comments. Durant has made a ton of anti-Knicks comments because of his anger towards Knicks fans for their anger towards him, with him saying the Knicks aren't what's cool in the NBA and a bunch of other comments. But Durant did walk that statement back a few years back when his manager, who is a Knicks fan and tried to pressure KD to join in the Knicks, Rich Kleiman, did say, "Can you admit the Knicks are cool now?" And KD's like, "Yeah, they just weren't at the time." And now the Knicks are the coolest thing in the Eastern Conference as they are close to headed to the NBA Finals. And Kevin Durant, he got into a bit of a tryst on Twitter. I know, shocking, right? And it was mentioned by Anthony Puccio, who runs Nets Daily. He said that the best thing to happen for the Knicks was KD and Kyrie choosing Brooklyn. It took time, but they were forced to restructure and build out organically. Now, Kevin Durant did respond to these comments, as Kevin Durant is known to. And KD said, "I don't think the Knicks' success has anything to do with me or Kyrie. An organic NBA team, what does that even mean in professional sports?" To which another fan commented, "It doesn't directly, but he's suggesting that your choice of Brooklyn pushed the Knicks onto a path that made them what they are now. That's all." And Kevin Durant said he's just salty that the Nets didn't work out and that he's jealous that the Knicks fans are having fun while Nets fans aren't. So you know they're going to blame me and Kai for taking their joy away. Now, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, both these fans talking to KD aren't exactly wrong. Had Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and subsequently DeAndre Jordan went to the New York Knicks, or DeAndre Jordan stayed with the Knicks because he was on the Knicks for 5 minutes, which was funny. But here's the thing. They didn't. They went to the Nets. And had they go to the Knicks, things would have been a lot different. For instance, the Knicks probably would not have traded for James Harden is my guess. I assume that Harden would have ended up elsewhere is kind of the thought that I had on it. But maybe they do trade for James Harden anyway. And for the sake of what's happened with the Brooklyn Nets, let's say they did. Let's just say the Knicks traded for James Harden. Let's say they made every move that the Brooklyn Nets made in this time span. First of all, because they made those signings, Leon Rose never would have been hired by the Knicks. When KD went there, that was the Steve Mills ran Knicks. It was not Leon Rose. With it not being Leon Rose, with it being Steve Mills and Scott Perry, those two probably would have been running the Knicks for a much longer period of time, including to even as far as right now. Those two were not very good at their jobs. Because of that, what we would have seen is a situation similar to the Nets. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden deal with injury concerns that gets them bounced in the second round of the playoffs 1 year, and outside of that, there's very little success outside with 2 first-round exits as well. One of them without Kevin Durant, one of them where things just went wrong against the Boston Celtics. And in the same time span, eventually James Harden gets traded for Ben Simmons, which doesn't work out, and you're stuck to that contract for a while. And then on top of that, Kyrie Irving gets upset. You move him to Dallas for not that good of a return, and then you subsequently 2 weeks later trade Kevin Durant to the Suns for a package surrounding Mikal Bridges. So Bridges makes it to the Knicks anyway. However, Jalen Brunson does not. The Knicks have Kyrie Irving. They weren't going to sign Jalen Brunson. Brunson probably ends up signing with either re-signs with the Mavericks or signs with the Detroit Pistons, a team that had a lot of interest in Jalen Brunson. That's what would have happened there. So that already destroys the Knicks whatsoever. The Knicks don't end up ever making the Karl-Anthony Towns trade because they gave up all their assets for none other than James Harden. All this turns into a nightmare scenario for the Knicks where they're where the Nets are without too many of their own draft picks, struggling to make ends meet, and just at the bottom of the East picking 8th overall. Let's say everything worked out the same. Kevin Durant is incorrect because all that happened. However, there's a world where the Knicks could have done things better or worse, and things would be different anyway. However, none of that happened. And yes, for Knicks fans, we're happy it didn't work out. This team made it farther than those Nets teams ever did. The Knicks did the right thing here. They didn't intentionally do it. They just missed out on Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and it worked out for them because Leon Rose got hired, and he's a phenomenal executive, so there's that. But at the end of the day, Durant's also not fully wrong because it's hard to just put all this in a box. I mean, it was mentioned by Puccio. Why do you always feel like Nets fans blame you? I'd say more blame is thrown at ownership, front office, and the mayor, but I'll let you play victim if that's how it's going to be. KD responding, brother, you are the one who spoke my name up. You could explain the Knicks' success without using my name, right? I'm mad it didn't work too. You know this. And obviously Durant's mad. He wants to win with them. So the response being, the plan was to get you and Kyrie. They didn't. Helped them get where they are now because it humbled them enough to reboot everything. It wasn't to slight at you or Kai or even the Nets. You could have hit me up on the side for Hoops Talk. You got the stands, all that stuff. Well, regardless, that riled you up on a Sunday. With KD saying you could have hit me up on the side too. Let's just talk. It's not really that serious. For a side convo, you're dealing with stands. Imagine me. Hope you enjoy your day. So this then kept going with Durant basically saying, I'm saying it's a hypothetical of what would have happened if we signed with the Knicks and not based in reality because you never know. We didn't sign with the Knicks, therefore it could create any reality you want using hypotheticals. So it shouldn't be taken into too much concern. People saying maybe the Knicks had publicly say they intended to sign you both, then hinted at creating a big three with Zion, and then altered that. And once again, you signed with the Nets. What's not clicking? He said, still has nothing to do with the Knicks in 2025. Is it that hard to understand? Look, it's a mix. Neither side's completely correct, but at the end of the day, what matters is the fact that the Knicks are better off because none of this happened. They have a team that's disciplined, and we got news on a lot that proves how all-in this Knicks team is. Now, very quickly, it's important to note here just because it is. Right now, the Knicks have been linked to Kevin Durant in trades. They're plus 2,000 to be his next team. They're not going to have Kevin Durant at any point in Kevin Durant's NBA career unless it's at the tail end for some reason, like the Knicks are competing and KD's ring chasing again. So maybe. I don't know why I said again. He's always ring chasing, but it's not happening. It's never happened. It's never happening. So just want to get it out of the way because you saw Kevin Durant in the thumbnail. Now, all this being said, as I mentioned, the Knicks are all in, and they've shown that recently. If you hear the sirens out there, it's because things are getting crazy in New York. Jalen Brunson, though, is trying to keep it all calm, saying, I feel like we have a long way to go. Just the confidence we have in each other and everything, we just knowing who we are, we tend to be unsatisfied. With him continuing and saying the way we prepared, the way we talked out there in Game 6, the way we made an emphasis to have each other's back and continue to cover for each other, it was important. It's focused on the defensive side of the ball, and when we're doing that and tied it together on offense, we're flowing. With Mikal Bridges echoing those comments, saying there's more to do. We're not done. We came out there to play hard and handle business, but our season's not over. We got much more to do. Thibodeau even saying as well, look, we have 8 wins. We need 16. This Knicks team is locked in, and there was a news story recently that shows just how locked in this New York Knicks team is, and Knicks fans should be absolutely loving this. The Knicks just made it farther than any Knicks team has in 25 years, guys. It's longer than my lifetime, as I've said multiple times. It's longer than a lot of your lifetimes who are watching this. Most of you, even if it's not longer than your lifetime, you don't remember because you were a child. So it feels really good right now. And Knicks fans, you saw us celebrating. We went absolutely insane. I don't know why I'm saying we. I wasn't out there right outside MSG because Didn't feel like being in a mob personally, but we were all partying, excited, having some drinks, enjoying our life as Knicks fans, which has been very, very rare throughout the 2000s up until now. So we're having fun. The Knicks are also enjoying it and celebrating. But there's been some caveats to this, and it's showing how all in and locked in this Knicks team is. It was mentioned by Page 6. We're told that the party took place at the Meatpacking District's private members club, Chez Margaux, which pop superstar Taylor Swift has frequently visited with her friends in recent months. This party I'm talking about was an after party when the Knicks won Game 6. Despite being in celebrityhood, though, we're told the handful of Knicks players who went turned down a bunch of offers of champagne. A handful of members at the Lux Social Club made them send complimentary bottles of champagne, but the Knicks declined all of that. And it was mentioned also by a source that they are locked in and were just there to celebrate the win and weren't drinking. They shared the bottles with their fans instead. They're very appreciative for their fans and for this city. So not only are the Knicks staying very disciplined in this run, and look, there's been plenty of instances where players have gone out the night before games, aka Michael Jordan. And he's not the only one. Lou Williams told a story about playing drunk in MSG when he was on the Clippers. And there's been instances of this. We know the NBA's had instances of this, but the Knicks are showing discipline and then giving back to their fans by giving them those bottles of champagne. So it's good to see. It's good to see the Knicks are staying disciplined and they're fully locked in on winning this NBA Finals. They know the job's not done and they're acting like the job's not done. Guys, I love to hear this. It shows everything that we would think about this Knicks team is absolutely true. What do you guys think about all this? I know it was a very, very lot to talk about video. Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Thank you for all the support. I'll catch you on the next one. Go Knicks.